Boom! That's the sound of a kicked football going 60 yards through the upright. Mason Shipley, the Texas State kicker, is your latest Texas Longhorn. Shipley commits to the Longhorns today after also looking at Oklahoma, among others. He went into the transfer portal out of Texas State. CJ, a young man originally from Liberty Hill, obviously with Burt Auburn going into the portal. Texas in need of a place kicker, and it looks like they got probably the top one on the board. Shipley last year, 15 of 19 for the Bobcats. The year before that, he was 15 of 15. Tell us a little bit about what you know from the Liberty Hill standout, Mason Shipley.
Yeah, big leg, right? He's got one of those makes from 60 yards, Bobby. How about that, right? It's been a minute since Texas has had a leg on campus with that, is comfortably able to kick a football on a field goal attempt north of 50 yards. Right now, Mason Shipley has certainly proven that. He was 2 for 3 from 50-plus last year. He's 3 for 4 in his career. But more than that, over the last 2 years, we talk about it, 30 of 34 on field goal attempts. Pretty good rate right there. Beyond 40 yards, how about 10 of 12? And I know that was an area of concern from a year ago. It was an area of concern previously with Burt Auburn. 10 of 12 from 40-plus is a pretty good mark at the college level for over 2 years of span. Really impressive mark. And, hey, I hope to not see him out there for 30 field goal attempts as we've seen over the last couple of years. If his numbers at Texas look anything like what they looked at the previous 2 years at Texas State, about 15 to 20 attempts per season, sign me all the way up. I'd love to see that.
Well, I mean, you think about it, CJ, and this is kind of where I come in at it, is Texas also clearly needing a kicker, although Will Stone, we'll see what happens there, was the kickoff specialist and then kind of took over for Burt Auburn in that Ohio State game. What are your thoughts, though, about Mason Shipley? And I guess it's Oklahoma was the other team that was involved. That's who Texas beat them out over. Because I heard the Sooners had all kinds of ridiculous problems in their kicking game during their spring game.
Well, look, Texas fans, Oklahoma fans specifically know how important a good kicker is in that game, right? You go back to Cameron Dicker, it makes a pretty big difference. But point being, it's a prime position, right? That's one of those key spots where if you have a good kicker, you're in a great position to win key games, put points on the board in late game situations. If you don't have a good kicker, well, you're kind of dreading those situations. It makes fourth down attempts so much more valuable. It makes crossing the 35 feel like it doesn't matter, right? And anytime you cross the 35, cross the 30, you should be able to put points on the board. For Texas now, I think a year ago, it felt like it wasn't always automatic, and it certainly wasn't given the track record. But now you're starting to get back to, hey, just get across the 50, get over the 40, and points should be added to win over Oklahoma. That's a big deal, right? Because, again, I could talk about it all the time. You don't find good kickers often. When you do, you like to hold on to them. And when you are able to steal them or retain them from going to one of your biggest rivals, Bobby, that makes it all the more sweet.
You mentioned your cohort on the winning drive, Bob Shipley. Mason Shipley and Bob Shipley are not related. Same with Jordan and Jackson Shipley, although Mason is from Liberty Hill there nearby, and Bob and Jordan played high school. Bob coached at, and Jordan played high school football at nearby Burnett High School as well. So look, CJ, I'm thinking about this as we talk about it here and what Texas has done in the portal thus far. This is the fourth player they've grabbed from the portal. Prior, Emmett Mosley, wide receiver, Stanford, 48 catches in 9 games as a true freshman at Stanford. Jack Indries, the tight end, number 1 ranked portal tight end in the country coming out of Cal, number 2 overall returning tight end in the country, according to Pro Football Focus. Lavon Johnson, a starter at defensive tackle, penciled in as a starter at defensive tackle for Maryland. He becomes part of the puzzle, along the Texas defensive front. What Texas has done overall in the portal is almost surgical at this point. I think that's a good terminology.
That was the exact word that I was going to use, Bobby, because, again, it's got to be precise. It's got to be quick. Surgical, certainly synonymous with both of those. And with Texas specifically, you look at Arch Manning, you look at Colin Simmons, you look at Anthony Hill. You got the makings. You got the talent for a pretty lengthy college football playoff run again. Now it's about supplementing that roster, finding pieces and areas that can help your football team next fall and make sure that they are able to contribute, right? And I think Texas has done just that. Emmett Mosley, a 500-yard guy at Stanford a year ago, now will be able to be a part of this rotation with Ryan Wingo, DeAndre Moore, Parker Livingstone. You look at Jack injuries. Texas didn't have a guy on roster at the tight end spot with a career reception. That's a big deal, and he's able to block 2 years of good football at Cal. That's a veteran piece that's going to contribute immediately. And we don't need to go down the laundry list of defensive linemen, but the fact that they've gone out again, addressed that need, made sure that that room is no longer looking very thin. In fact, it's quite the opposite, right? Every single one of those guys, with the exception of Justice Terry, Bobby, pushing 310 or more, with a few pushing about 345. So a lot of beef there. They're not thin anymore, and that's key playing in the SEC. But, of course, kicker now being the latest. Anywhere you can find a position of consistency to put points on the board, if you do that and you do so consistently, your team's going to be in a much better shape than if you did not have that piece.
Yep, absolutely. So, look, a lot of recruiting information breaking at right now for the Longhorns in the portal. We do not think they'll be done after this pledge as well. We think that's pretty obvious. Make sure you're over on ontexasfootball.com. Come visit us there. Make sure you read the message boards. That's where Jerry Hamilton, CJ Vogel, myself, Jeff Howe, Blake Monroe, all deliver news each and every day about college football recruiting and the transfer portal as well. You may need a subscription. Right now, you can get that for $49.95 for 1 year when you use the promo code OTFOG. It's the best deal on the market. No one else comes close. That's on TexasFootball.com. Use the promo code OTFOG. What'd you have, CJ?
Bobby, I got a question for you. So Texas has gone out and they've added a punter, Jack Bomeister from Utah. Obviously now Mason Shipley from Texas State. What's the expectation now for special teams in 2025? Because we've talked about, they need to get the return game right. You got to make sure that your gunners and your coverage teams are right. But now it feels like the leg and the strengths of legs are going to be at least a level up than what we saw from a year ago.
Oh, I didn't think about that. The strengths of both legs are, Texas added 5 yards punting.
Yeah.
Basically average, and probably 5 yards per attempt. Or where they could reasonably rely on points. That's found yardage. I mean, talking to guys like Bob Shipley and Brian Irwin, our coaches that come on with us, that's kind of found yardage.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a subtle thing.
It adds up.
But yeah, it does add up. As far as return game, concerned is not the right word. I want to understand who they're going to try to utilize. That is my biggest piece. I do think that gunner Warren Roberson is one. Will it be maybe a Jelani McDonald or a Derek Williams? I mean, I just don't know what they're going to do, because right now Texas has so many long, lean players that can really run. I mean, maybe it's Cade Phillips to get him some experience and game experience early and gets him some, like, a taste of, you want a little taste of blood, right, before you put them out there on the field. So I'm intrigued who's going to be the returners. And then from the group that they could put out there as gunners, what are they going to do? Because they have so many long, lean athletes, I think, that can really, really run right now.
I agree. And I think, again, that's going to be really interesting to see, because those longer kicks, hey, if Texas is just a little bit faster as a gunner or on coverage, you're going to beat your guy opposite the ball of you, and it's going to create some more advantageous positions for your defense to start taking fields, something that kind of hindered the team a year ago.
Yeah, they weren't a great punting team. Michael Kern did his best. I mean, nobody wants to, but he was a young guy. He's still growing and getting stronger. So, all right, that's going to do it. Congratulations again to Mason Shipley, young man out of Texas State by way of Liberty Hill High School. Mason Shipley, buddy, hook him.